Today, we are diving deep into a concept that is, well, at the absolute core of what makes us human, belief. What is it really? Where does it even come from? And how does it end up shaping, pretty much everything in our lives? Let's get into it.
But hey, before we really jump in, let me ask you a quick question. Think about it for a second. What's that deep, internal thing that guides your decisions, your values, your whole sense of direction? What is the needle on your life's compass pointing to? Just keep that in the back of your mind as we go through this. All right, so drawing from a really fascinating text on Xingyang, which is the word for belief or faith, we're going to go on a little journey. First, we'll nail down a definition. Then, we'll look at a huge divide in how people believe. And finally, we're going to climb this really interesting 8-level hierarchy of faith to see what its ultimate purpose is.
So what is Xingyang? Well, the word itself is our first big clue. It's actually made of 2 characters. First, you've got Xin, which means to trust, to believe, to rely on. And then you have Yang, which means to look up to worship, to revere. So right off the bat, you can see this is way more than just thinking something is true. It's about this powerful combination of deep trust and profound reverence.
Okay, now check out the formal definition from our source, because it's probably not what you're expecting. Belief isn't something you just casually choose. It's described as a value system that forms automatically inside you, but only after your mind is seriously shaken up by something. Like a powerful idea, a major event, or some kind of mysterious force. It's this deep, almost involuntary, internal reaction.
So the most important thing to get here is that true belief, according to this, is deeply personal. It's an individual thing. A belief that you only have because you're part of a group, that's seen as super fragile. It could just disappear if the group falls apart. And this also shows just how incredibly diverse belief can be. We're not just talking about religion. It could be an ideology like communism, or even a personal life philosophy like hedonism.
Okay, so now that we've got a handle on what belief is, the source material points out this really fundamental split. Basically, 2 main paths that belief can take. And this distinction, it shapes everything that comes after.
So on one side, you have theistic belief. This worldview is described as humble. It's based on trust in a divine creator and is guided by a sense of cosmic justice, karma. This fosters self-restraint through a kind of internal moral compass. And then, on the other side, you've got atheistic belief. This path champions human power and science, trusting only what we can see and prove. It views life as a one-time shot. So the focus is all about success and failure, right here, right now.
And now we get to the really wild part. The author lays out this fascinating and pretty provocative hierarchy, 8 different levels of belief. The best way to picture it is like a ladder we're about to climb, an ascent from our most basic instincts all the way up to the most transcendent ideas.
Let's start at the very bottom. The first 4 levels are sort of the foundational stages, and in some cases, the most primitive. Level 1 is basically survival of the fittest. Level 2 is all about worshiping money and power. But then you see a real shift at level 3, where principles like integrity pop up, followed by loyalty at level 4.
This one phrase perfectly sums up level 1, Ruor Ro Chung Shi, which translates to, "The weak are meat for the strong to eat." I mean, wow, it's the law of the jungle, a belief system where might makes right and morality just isn't part of the conversation.
But then, get this. Just 2 steps up the ladder at level 3, you get this principle. Ji so pu yu, wu shi yu ren. This is, of course, the golden rule. The change is absolutely massive. We go from a world of pure, brutal self-interest to one of empathy and mutual respect. That is a huge leap in consciousness within this framework. As we keep climbing, we reach the higher levels. Level 5 is about dedicating yourself to a group, your family, your country, a shared cause. Level 6 then goes even broader, to a desire for harmony with the natural world, like you see in Taoism. Then level 7 is where the major world religions come in, centered on divine faith. And at the very, very top of the ladder, we find level 8. The source describes this 8th and final level as the absolute pinnacle. It's presented as this grand synthesis, a belief system that brings together the wisdom of major spiritual leaders with the discoveries of modern science. It's really framed as the ultimate endpoint of human understanding, where all these different streams of wisdom merge into one.
So after climbing this whole ladder, what's the point? Why is belief so critical to begin with? Well, the source wraps things up with a really powerful metaphor for what belief is ultimately supposed to do for us.
And this really gets to the heart of it. The source states, very simply, your belief determines your life's outcome. It's such a direct and powerful statement. The idea is that the values you hold, the things you revere, will fundamentally write the story of your life. And here it is, that central metaphor. Belief is the navigator for the soul. It's the tool that gives our spirit a direction, a purpose. And the author makes a pretty stark claim here. Without that navigator, a human is just reduced to their most basic animal instincts. Kind of like what we saw way back on level 1.
And so here we are, right back where we started. After looking at these definitions, this great divide, and all these levels, the question comes back to you. What values, what deep trust, what sense of reverence is steering you through this life? What is navigating your soul?